Hey everyone, Ben Kissel here. As we've been saying, we're going exclusive to Spotify starting February 14th. That's Valentine's Day. So it's time to get ready for the move. You can download the Spotify app for free. You don't have to put down a credit card or pay anything. Just download the app, search for Last Podcast on the left, and listen to our show like you normally would. Plus, the rest of the Last Podcast network is there too. And of course, all of your favorite music. If you want to get new episodes as soon as they come out, just follow the show on Spotify, and new episodes will pop into your library. It's super simple. We'll be talking more about this in the upcoming weeks, but get ready. Valentine's Day is the day. Listen free on Spotify.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left.
From your glade.
That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Man, I wish that I could shed this vehicle. You know, I've been doing
That
so
beautiful
much work.
vehicle of yours?
Look at how 5 days a week in the gym, and I still look like Louis Anderson dehydrated.
I love it.
And I wish I could get rid of this vehicle so much. I'm trying to shed my attachments. I'm already drinking LaCroix, which is already sacrificing flavor from my life.
It's cancer causing.
It's not cancer causing. Where are you getting that from?
The internet.
You're just
It's not
you
cancer
sound like
causing at all.
You sound like my Aunt Carol when you say stuff like that.
Yeah,
All right.
you sound like somebody who says, I don't drink that cause cancer. I drink Diet Coke.
Cancer causing. Isn't that nice? You can just say those two words.
You just do it at the top of the show.
Okay.
But I'm trying to shed this vehicle, but the only thing that's really holding on, the only thing that's keeping me here plugged into this bullshit is I gotta see Doolittle.
Doolittle.
The PR campaign for Doolittle. Have you seen they made a rabbit like crook one of his eyebrows? He made a turtle wink. That's like a fucking trailer. And what have they got saved for the rest of the movie if they're just showing that fun stuff in the trailer? I can't commit suicide yet. I mean transition to the next level.
I agree. You'll be very surprised by what the turtle can wink in that film. Wink it.
Wink it.
Eddie Murphy will always be my Dr. Doolittle. I'm not going to watch this trash that Hollywood's putting out right now just because we have a white supremacist in the White House. But now we have a white Doolittle?
Wow, dude.
I don't think so.
You are going both barrels today.
All right, everyone, this is the Last Podcast on the left. I am Ben Kissel, staring at Marcus Parks. You look rejuvenated, you're fresh, you're young.
I'm feeling good.
You look good.
Thank you.
And then we have Hollywood Henry Zabrowski, looking wonderful.
Was that a struggle?
No, I said it.
Why did that take a beat? That took a beat. Like, you did look at me, you absorbed the way I looked, and then you decided to slightly jab.
Why? Yes.
All right, hey, man, I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it.
No, you do look good. You do. Oh, we all look good.
You're looking great.
Thank you.
I actually
You are.
commented on how good you looked when you walked in.
Yes, and I'm going to go to HR about it. And I am HR, so I have a complaint to file with myself.
Are you guys ready to get bored to death?
No.
We are. That's a horrible tease.
That is the worst way you could possibly open this fucking episode.
This is very exciting. This is about a man named Marshall. And isn't that fun? And I really believe that this guy, he's funny.
Yeah.
Underrated humor. And, of course, Marshall Applewhite. Why are we talking about him? He is the head of the Heaven's Gate cult. And we are on to Heaven's Gate Part 2.
So near the beginning of 1975, Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, with their cult on the verge of extinction, sent a letter to two members of their inner circle from their self-imposed seclusion, saying they could be reached at a post office box in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Ooh.
Always kick that can to Gulfport, Mississippi.
That's fun. It's like Publishers Clearinghouse.
Now, this didn't necessarily mean they were actually in Gulfport, but still, T and Doe, as they were now known, encouraged anyone who was still interested in following their teachings to write to that address for more information. As far as what that information was, T and Doe were teaching that they were bringing messages from alien heaven, which they called the next level, straight from alien God, or, as they called him, the Father.
I do love that they still relied on the U.S. Postal Service.
Had to. It's the only thing that they could still depend upon in this cruel Luciferian-led world. For some reason, this is the very beginnings of their belief system. We will see as the years go, especially as now they pull into total isolation over the next 15 years, where they will slowly but surely chip their religion into a shape that is very specific to them, and might I say, stinks of lentils. I am sick of these lentils.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with a good lentil. Flows right through you.
That's the first thing Natalie also said when I was attacking the diet regimen. I have a bunch of cartoon pictures of Marshall Applewhite trying to make a fun version of why they're only eating rock soup this week, and I showed it to Natalie. Natalie's like, this actually sounds very sensible. And I was like, I am so sick of everybody relating to these people. Why are we relating to them?
So, just so we're clear, right now, where we are with Heaven's Gate and what we talked about in part 1, this is their roaring 20s.
Yeah.
This is when they're out there, they're getting footloose, they're wearing their flappers, they're drinking more than one cola a night, they're getting nuts. So it gets more isolated from here.
Yep. But in their theology, the Father, a.k.a. God, and the Son, a.k.a. Jesus, were both alien beings who were inhabiting the bodies of Bonnie Nettles and Marshall Applewhite, with Nettles playing host to God, while Applewhite had Jesus.
He's the Admiral.
No, he's not the Admiral, he's the Captain.
Who's Tennille?
We'll get to all that later. They said that they were bringing the same message that Jesus had brought 2,000 years ago, and they were bringing it in advance of Armageddon, which to them was going to be a technological and material event rather than a supernatural one. See, one of the interesting things about Applewhite and Nettles' reading of the Bible was that even though it sounds wacky, it was actually more literal than what most Christian churches teach.
They went extra literal.
Yeah.
They mean every single thing that they say, and they make it a point from the very beginning that they're not talking about any sort of ethereal spiritual plane ever. They're talking about outer space.
I remember that when Jesus was carrying the cross up the mountain to the hill where he would be hung, where he's like, thank God I got my J's on, because without these, I would be totally uncomfortable.
I would love to see a commercial where it's Jesus Christ struggling with the crucifix, right? And the little girl comes and wipes his brow, but then a big-titted chick with this the cut all the way down brings him a Cliff protein bar. And he eats it, and then he just picks up that crucifix and just spears it through the chest of a centurion. And then it just starts fighting everybody, and then he just has sex with that woman deep into the night. And it's just, thank you, Cliff Bar, for not making me open heaven to all these stupid sinners.
Turns out Jesus loved the chocolate mint. Love chocolate mint Cliff Bars.
Well, the difference was that Applewhite and Nettles were approaching the Bible from an ancient alien perspective by teaching that the Bible was a literal truth written about actual events exactly as they occurred. They said that the only reason why the authors of the Bible talked about clouds, gods, angels, and miracles was because they didn't have the vocabulary or the understanding to name them for what they actually were: extraterrestrials and UFOs. The people who did have that vocabulary, though, were Applewhite and Nettles' followers. In February of 1976, the two gave an interview in which they estimated that their follower count was somewhere between 300 and 1,000.
Oh, you're gonna want to get those numbers buttoned up if you're gonna go on Shark Tank. Mr. Wonderful is gonna tear you apart.
Seriously, it is not going to hold water, because Mr. Wonderful is going to look at he's going to do an evaluation, and you're going to be fucked, because they had 30 people outside of a 7-Eleven, maybe.
It was probably closer to 200. Okay. Somewhere around there. And by the time Nettles declared that the harvest was closed at that heckler-heavy talk in 1976, only 88 made the cut. A couple of months after the proclamation, T and Doe scheduled a camp rendezvous at Medicine Bow National Forest in Wyoming, telling their members that it was time for a demonstration.
Now, you remember, the original idea of the demonstration was that T and Doe were going to publicly crucify themselves, die on the cross, and that they would disappear. They would physically disappear, and then 3 days later come back to prove this all this is correct. And they decided to do this, I guess, near the volleyball courts. That this is where it's gonna take. You're gonna have Bonnie just being like, okay, then get the nails out, everybody. Now you guys play volleyball. I guess that's fine for some human vessels. We're gonna bleed to death over here. Thank you very much.
So they were truly going to be crucified?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
that was the pitch.
yeah.
That was their pitch.
That
okay.
was the pitch. That's what they were saying. They were the two witnesses from Revelation. They were about to become martyrs. They would be taken up into the spaceship and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But when the followers arrived, Applewhite said, demonstration's canceled.
What?
It's
this
canceled.
is like, what are you talking about?
It's canceled.
This is like when they went to Wally Worlds and National Lampoons, and John Candy was the only one working there. They held him up by gunpoint to go on all the rides.
I know that we were all very excited. We all wanted this transformation to happen. We all were. I was too. I couldn't wait to die. I know you were. You're one of our goons.
Yeah,
I'm so
I'm
happy
working
you
here,
showed
yeah.
up. But I left the nails on the top of my car in the parking lot. Would you believe it when we left the Home Depot? And I'm just not going back because I'm embarrassed.
Oh, man.
Yep. Here's your roast chicken.
Wanted to see someone get crucified today.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Well, they said it was canceled because the followers were not ready to enter the next level.
They're going to blame the audience that showed up?
Blame the audience, yep. Applewhite said that they'd spent way too much time on the demonstration itself and not enough time on their own personal growth, because that was the most important part. You couldn't ascend to the next level and become a sexy gray alien if you're only focused on the eventual ascension. You're going to forget about the actual work that needs to be done.
But why would they work on themselves? Their self is just going to be trash. It's going to be left on the ground on Main Street. No one's going to care.
Nope. That's the thing, because at this point, the body was supposed to be turned into a sexy alien through a biological and chemical process.
Well, you got to get used to it. You got to get your body used to it. This is why you were bad at school, Kissel.
No, just go to Palm Beach, Florida. You can get your body turned into anything.
You never studied.
No, but this is all, you and I, Kissel, this is where you and I are vaguely aligned, because I also was bad at schoolwork, right? I don't like homework. I didn't like all this shit, because I would be the same thing. I would be one of the 88 people saying like, yeah, I'll drive to Wyoming to watch these two idiots crucify themselves. And if a UFO does show up, fucking yes.
Great.
Righteous. Amazing. But then we show up, and then they want me to go on a diet. And then now we're going to go, and I'm literally going to go and stay in La Quinta's with these two, with the two worst roommates that ever existed, a man who doesn't blink and body nettles who's all pussy. You know what I mean? So now I don't want to deal with any of this shit. I'm out.
No, they're full of lentils.
Yeah.
You cannot share a room nor a bathroom with these kinds of people.
Well, they found that Nettles and Applewhite had changed their attitude when it came to how hands-on they were going to be with all of their followers. So the group got down to the business of the here and now. And this technique was actually brilliant because it required members to focus every single ounce of energy on the present instead of worrying about the future in any way whatsoever. They said you got to forget about the ascension. You can't think about the ascension. You've got to work on your personal growth here and now. And this is called Control 101. But in the case of this cult, giving yourself over completely to Ti and Do was framed as a way to achieve personal growth rather than achieving something for the collective.
There's an interesting essay I read that was sent to me by a listener, and I want to say thank you very much, A, for sending this to us through the Side Stories email. That was written by Roy Wallace, called The Social Construction of Charisma. That talks about, it breaks down the relationship between a group and a charismatic leader. And one of these is, one of the tenets is this idea of what's called a counterproductive goals, which is this, where it starts getting you right now into this world where immediately it sets the temperament of Ti and Do are going to give you these little things to do, that are these little errands and shit as you go, and tasks and things, ways to live your life. And then what that will do is that it's what Dogmeat said. It focuses you in on your relationship directly with pleasing your charismatic leader and how the two of you relate to each other. The charismatic leader has to have an audience in order to exist. And Ti and Do on some level had to have a conversation, even though I'm with you, Dogmeat, from last episode, saying they are true believers. They are starting to believe that these energies are inside of them, and they are looking for signs. But at the same time, it is not real to them as well if they don't have a crowd that is also there as a part of this weird cyclical relationship. They are two halves that need each other, and this is the first step of it that shows, like, we have to have you. Without you, we're not living gods. If we crucify ourselves right now, we're just two dead nerds that park rangers have to pull off a cross in the middle of, and you got to protect the wolves. They have all these other responsibilities they should be doing.
It sounds kind of like what the people who created the video game Death Stranding also want you to do.
Walk around?
Just mundane tasks. And then at some point you can maybe achieve enlightenment, but it never really happens.
Well, T and Doe also pulled a page from the Joseph Smith handbook. See, for the previous year or two, Applewhite and Nettles have been letting their followers run willy-nilly throughout the country without a whole lot of guidance. Meeting when they wanted to meet, and talking about whatever they wanted to talk about. There was not really a lot of guidance from Central. The problem with this is that followers were getting tired of chasing rumors of T and Doe meetings across America with no payoff. They started grumbling, which is human nature.
Of course.
And in one case, a follower had quote-unquote visions that T and Doe were not who they said they were.
What? They were lying? You know what it was? They just saw accidentally Marshall Applewhite eating a taquito somewhere in front of a gas station. You should just watch him go, oh, this is good. I love this Adobe chicken. Then it slips. As soon as he admits to loving Adobe chicken even once, we're all fucked.
He's a human after all.
So, to nip a potential insurrection in the bud, Applewhite and Nettles clarified that all of the information from the next level, from heaven, was channeled through a, quote, chain of mind. Information flowed from the next level to Nettles first. Then, it flowed from Nettles to Applewhite. And then, it went from Applewhite to everybody else.
Yeah, you're living in it. It's a teased world. No, just living in it. Yeah. Oh, I got a grilled chicken sandwich stuck inside my belly button. I guess it must be God's will then for young.
I'll eat it, Miss Nettle.
Bonnie, sidebar. We should talk about some of these messages you're receiving before we meet with the class.
So, after Applewhite and Nettles put everyone in their place, the real purpose for the Wyoming rendezvous was revealed. It was finally time to begin preparations for life in space!
Yay!
In order to prepare, T and Doe instituted a wildly strict program of self-denial and discipline, which they called the process. And the foundation of this program was abstention from so-called vices and human attachments. Naturally, there was no drug use, no beer drinking, no cigarette smoking, but members also had to give up material possessions, relationships with family and friends, and especially sex.
So it's a no-fun cult at this point.
No, I mean, it depends on what your definition of fun is, sir.
None of those things. You got to have at least one of those.
But one of the things I find interesting about the abstention rules is that although most of the things Applewhite and Nettles banned lied firmly in the sinful sphere, they never, to the best of my knowledge, actually used the word sin. Applewhite and Nettles were not guilt-tripping their adherents. Instead, all of this was framed as a choice. If you wanted to be a part of the group that went to heaven on a spaceship,
right,
abstention was necessary. If not, you could take your chances on Earth with the Luciferians.
My question is, though, right, like this is the vessel. Are we to the point now where the full body goes into the spacecraft? Or
Yes.
so we're still in the full body?
Totally.
Because otherwise this is a rental, and what do you do with rentals? You light them
Smoking
on
it.
fire, you smoke in it.
Take a shit in it, rub a
Crash.
hamburger all over the seats.
Whatever you want to do.
Absolutely, because when I'm in a rental, the way I find parking is that I just nudge various bumpers of cars until I get into the spot. But you say that they were not guilt-tripping their adherents, right? But as I'll talk a little bit more, as I watched a lot of footage of Marshall Applewhite speaking, and guilt-tripping, it's weird. Their punishment system was more inherent in the very bottom of their entire belief scenario, where it's this idea of, reject the ultimate truth if that's what you want.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm in touch with the ultimate truth, and it leads to pure bliss. And anybody that doesn't believe us is a part of the problem that is driving the earth which will eventually, it will be spaded over. And right now it's all cute. And I'm not saying what I really mean, which is I do believe that like a race of robots will unleash a field of death on this world after we all depart. But I'm not going to say that. But sure, leave. Yeah, you leave.
Wait a
do
second.
Do whatever you want. Yeah,
Yo,
be
man.
the rest of your life.
Yo, dude, you said all of that out loud. And that was what did you say about the robots?
It's these cue cards. I got to stop reading these cue cards.
Damn.
Well, for Heaven's Gate, Earth was actually a cosmic classroom where living beings had to prove themselves worthy of the next level by avoiding and overcoming the temptations laid out by the Luciferians. But the Luciferians weren't trying to tempt you in order to lure you into the flames of hell. Because we're already in hell.
This is hell?
Well, it's hell or purgatory, depending on how well you live your life. You can get to purgatory if you're lucky, but the point of temptation is to keep us here.
That's why we have chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Because chicken nuggets are supposed to keep us here, wallowing in this purgatory of beer and seeing my wife's beautiful breasts and going on vacation and playing video games and laughing with my friends. All this disgusting shit that I have to deal with all the time.
But those are fun things to do.
That's hell, my friend.
That's hell.
Yeah, that's hell.
I thought hell was like living like Albert Fish, but without the erection.
Nope, that's absolute hell. That's just everyday life is hell or purgatory.
Okay, so the best we can do is break even.
Best we can do is break even.
That's why I like gambling.
Actually, the best we can do is to reach the next evolutionary level above human. That's the best you can do.
But that's no fun.
Yep.
Okay.
You got to give it up all. But think about how happy you'll be, Kissel.
I wouldn't be happy.
I could just seeing Kissel's alien, like seeing Kissel standing amongst the ascended masters as he's just will kind of bumble around, be like, "You guys see the Packers game? I'm sorry, that was an attachment." As an attachment to, I guess. You guys see that wrestling match, and I think that Cherokee man, he hit the grave man with the chair. Well, that's an attachment, huh?
That's a 1992 reference to Tatanka and The Undertaker. But good. That's an A for effort, my friend.
It is A for effort. But according to Heaven's Gate, Earth was not a place in which to get comfortable or to stay. Earth was a test to see if you were worthy of heaven. In other words, all of this bullshit, every part of Heaven's Gate is just Christianity dressed up in aliens' clothing. Okay. It's all the same rules. It's all the same. You get you get to the same place eventually, but it's just, aliens.
Okay. I mean, it makes it more exciting. It's a good twist.
Yeah.
And if you attempt to read the book by Sawyer by the title by which that will not be named, because we already devoted 3 minutes to that title last episode. If you look at it, it has over 800 pages of the scriptural passages, all the scripture shit that they used as literal examples of why everything they said was correct. So they used the Bible as an entire source book. It was the only thing that they were allowed essentially to read, especially by the end, where they were using it, mining for reasons why everything that they said was right.
See, the whole point of abstaining and resisting the Luciferians was to emulate those on the next level, because after all, that was the evolutionary level above human, and human attachments kept you from reaching that level. As such, members who planned on coming to the Wyoming camp in 1976 were told in advance to be prepared for a Spartan existence. The invite letter said, quote,
"If you are ready to go, you will need a car, a tent, a warm sleeping bag, a stove, at least 2 changes of winter clothing and 2 for warmer weather, eating and cooking utensils, and whatever money you can bring."
That is literally the exact thing that everyone plans for to go to Bonnaroo. That's what every friend is like, you better bring all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because Lady Gaga's performing at midnight, but she'll be late. So we need to make sure we take the drugs right at 11:55. It takes 25 minutes for them to kick in. By the time she starts singing, I don't even know a famous Lady Gaga song.
Poker Face.
Poker Face.
Poker Face will be blooming.
This is from 1999. I'm pretty certain that this is from like 25 years ago.
So, once members arrived, Applewhite and Nettles divided the group into what they called star clusters.
Oh, I had a couple of those this morning.
First poop of the day.
First poop of the day.
First poop of the day. You better get those star clusters checked out. Have you went to the thrombosis doctor?
No, I haven't in a long time. Puffin sniffs me, though, and he doesn't say, bark, bark, which means I have cancer. He says, bark, which means cancer-free. I was told dogs consent if you have cancer.
And how do you think Puffin is going to tell you?
Bark once for no cancer. Bark, bark for cancer.
I hear him bark twice all the time.
You have cancer. See? Solved it.
Well, each of these star clusters was named after a different galaxy. And these groupings, the star clusters, were made up of circles of identical tents, and each grouping was supposed to mimic a spacecraft. In charge of each individual cluster were members of T and Do's inner circle, whom the group called helpers. These helpers would be rotated from camp to camp to ensure that everything was as it should be, down to how everyone's camping equipment was arranged in each tent.
Jeez.
First level of organizing the thought. It immediately pops into hierarchies. What you see, too, is that it immediately, as soon as there is once they decided they are the heads, and Teodo are the ones closest to the godhoods, right? So they're the ones that have the font of truth, and the members can only get it through T and Do.
Okay.
Eventually, you have people that immediately sort into people that are holier than the rest of the group that are even more connected to T and Do, which means they're even more connected to the Godhead, which leaves a bunch of stragglers that need to be kept in line.
But how?
So even though it is gentle, by passive-aggressively saying they should have only one pot, by passive-aggressively saying, well, this is kind of, you have two pillows, huh? Do you really feel that when we are on the spacecraft that we will need more than one pillow? These
Well, what if you roll over in your sleep? What if you roll over and...
I sleep with 5 pillows. I have a pillow under my head. I grip one with my arms. I have one under my butt. I have one between my knees, and there's an extra one because Wendy sometimes likes to sleep underneath that pillow behind my legs.
Do you have PTSD from Vietnam?
Yeah,
Why
Jesus.
do you hold a pillow when you sleep?
I don't know. They say that you sleep the same way that you were inside of the womb. They say that's kind of a comfort thing you learn from being a preemie. So I wonder if I grip my mom's fucking guts.
Maybe she'd just eat a baguette every morning and be like, Henry Thomas, this is for you to sleep with.
Well, eventually, Applewhite and Nettles introduced a concept called the smooth whirlwind.
Nope. This is easily something that is infomercialed at 12 a.m. to someone who is hammered, who wants to get their life together. And he's just like, I haven't shat that good in 5 years.
I finally got my first ball shaver, and I shaved my balls for the
You've
first
talked
time.
about
Totally.
the ball
The
shaver already.
Manscaper. It's called the I see it advertised now for it.
It is weird to feel all that air, that smooth whirlwind around your balls. It's very strange.
How you need to still wear clothes in public.
Well, in the smooth whirlwind, members would rotate from cluster to cluster every day except Friday as a kind of getting to know you exercise.
Why not Friday?
Because that's the day that you gotta bond to your partner on that day.
Okay.
You gotta get your bond with your partner smooth, but you gotta
no
get your bond.
sex.
No sex. Okay. And at the edge of the largest circle was Applewhite and Nettles, who lived in a small camp trailer that everyone called Central, and every star cluster was connected to Central by a trail marked off by sticks and logs laid end to end. Extrapolating off this structure, the group created their own mini compound in the middle of a national forest campground. One of their little areas was a remote circle called the Decontamination Zone, where members would go when they were bothered by quote-unquote spirits.
Yep.
Oh, they just took away everything fun from camping, though. Cigarettes, booze,
Yes. Yeah.
weed,
Yes, from
shrooms.
everything.
Because I actually really love this idea. This is my favorite cult location so far that we've ever covered.
And in a Wyoming forest, no less.
Love
It's
camping.
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I'm partial to the boat.
Oh, but you're just crazy.
Well, spirits, in Heaven's Gate nomenclature, were attachments to old doubts, desires, and habits, or memories of friends and relatives. So, if the masturbation spirit came a-calling, you had to go to the decontamination zone to cool off.
You could just see Brother Zabrowski out there in the middle of the decontamination zone, just full, like, my tent is pitched inside of my pants. Just be going, get down, come on, get down. Just like rubbing it on a rock and just saying, I'm not coming, I'm trying to scratch it. No, and just sticking it in dirt, in and out, being like, I'm just trying to end it. I don't want to feel this.
But they also gave these nerdy names to just regular everyday locations. The parking lot, for example, was called the docking zone.
Docking is disgusting for those that know what it is. It's very dangerous. Docking is when you put your penis inside of another man's penis.
No, it's just you just do the it's a foreskin thing, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what I just said.
That's not dangerous.
No, it's the tips touching and kissing.
What's dangerous about that?
I didn't say it. Okay, dangerous is not.
It's dick kissing. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's dangerous for Monday morning when the friend that you did it with tells everyone in school. It's gonna make for a weird freshman year.
Sounding is the dangerous one.
Yeah, sounding is that's when you put the big metal rods down your dick hole.
Right.
That's dangerous.
It's all you have fun. Be safe.
Well, accepting jobs like collecting firewood or doing laundry, absolutely everything had to be done within these zones. Because all the zones were marked off by like twigs and logs and sticks and shit. You couldn't go outside of the zone unless you were given permission to go outside of the zone.
So, Henry, you're taking the boat. I'm going on the camping trip. I'm going to say you're an Shinrikyo guy because you love Japan.
Well, I do love Japan, but the Shinrikyo camps were absolutely awful. Like people said it was a combination between a concentration camp and a canning factory. Like Shinrikyo,
that's really bad.
No, dude, I'm tagging along.
Okay.
I'm tagging along. I'm coming on the camping trip.
Yay! How you going to be alone on a boat, Henry?
I don't know. I'm going to be calling the police to get you both deprogrammed.
Now, they definitely got down to some weird shit in the Wyoming camp, but ultimately, it all sounded comparatively benign when you compare it to some of the shit that went down with Shinrikyo.
Oh. Of course, Shinrikyo is a literal death cult.
Yeah. While the Japanese apocalyptic cult would force-feed their followers cabbages and make them eat their own vomit while Shoko Asahara's daughter burned their kids with acid, Applewhite was handing his followers tuning forks.
I mean, it's just two sides of the same coin. Because the idea of that's what they did for fun is the saddest thing.
A part of me definitely, as a onlooker, Shinrikyo would be more fun to be like, Barry, eat the cabbage. Eat the cabbage. Eat it, bitch. He's eating his puke. Fuck yeah, dude. Until it's like your turn, and they're like, oh shit.
But Natalie and I got into, we were talking again, I've been rambling at her about a lot of this stuff, but again, Shinrikyo, like Scientology, is one of those good ones if you get into management.
If you get into management, it's great.
And it seems
you got to get into management.
But it does seem like Heaven's Gate, that's closed, right? T and Doe, that's it.
Heaven's Gate, to me, then it becomes, it's almost hypocritical, which is the worst sin of all, where they say that there is no bosses here. There is no leaders here. We are one of you. We are as classmates as you, which is all horseshit.
Please.
Well, members would place a vibrating tuning fork to their head, tuned to the note of A, and memorize the sound so they'd have something to focus on to bring them closer to the next level while they were eating, washing cars, or doing laundry.
But the irony is the people who are camping next to them are just like, man, yeah, we brought all this beer, but they got a bunch of acid over there. Why don't you go over there and talk to them, Henry? You're the charming one. Go get some of the acid.
They're doing something fucking crazy over there because you have Bonnie Nettles going up to people. This is their television. Hitting a tuning fork on the side of a log or something, and her going,
I think I got it this time. No, it's really important, that.
And they all have to sit and they're like,
Very good. And where Shoko Asahara would use shock therapy through electrode-infused shower caps to keep control, Applewhite instituted a self-imposed system of half-silence called Tomb Time.
What the hell is Tomb Time?
That's the show that Glenn Borland should have done.
This here is a tomb. This here is another tomb. We have a tomb over here.
When members were in tomb time, they could only respond to questions with yes, no, or I don't know. Although if a more complex answer was needed, the writing of notes was permitted.
Now, this is what you find the most attractive, don't you, Dogmeat? You wish that you could be in tomb time.
Oh, just not talking and only have a yes or no or I don't know? Sometimes, yeah.
No, but not always. This would drive everyone completely insane. We're podcasters.
They didn't do it always. They just did it sometimes.
This is just sometimes.
Yeah, because it's tomb time. You're in tomb time. All right.
And do they just...
Have you pitched to Carolina this?
Tomb
Have you
time?
pitched to her saying, like, Carolina, we're in tomb time right now. If she wants to have, like, she'd get that text being like, hey, we should talk. I have something I got to talk to you about, and go, unfortunately, I'm in tomb time.
Well, the nice thing is when Carolina proposes the divorce papers, that's a silent act. You don't have to say anything.
Well, no, I can still answer questions with yes, no, or I don't know in tomb time. Yeah, because if she said, like, I want a divorce, I could still go, no.
See?
Yeah, but then she also has a big say in it.
But
No,
I mean,
she's got to get you to sign that paper.
Yeah, she got to get me to sign that paper. She ain't getting rid of me.
She could trick you into signing that paper in a heartbeat. She would just be like,
Marcus, I got this shipment in here. It's this paper. It's a whole pallet of shovels and Monster Munch. What do you like?
and don't forget the
Just
Iron
sign right-
Brew. The Iron Brew
Oh,
just showed
yeah, there's
up.
a whole pallet coming in. Just sign right. You're divorced.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Who's in Toontown now?
No, I wouldn't do it because I prefer prawn cocktail over Monster Munch.
God, that's bringing us back to our UK tour. Prawn and mayonnaise sandwiches. It's not just for people who live under the sea in SpongeBob world.
Well, tomb time, T and Doe said, was practice for the next level, because once everyone went up to space in a UFO, they would be able to communicate with each other just by putting their thoughts on the, quote, ethers.
But really, this is the cloud. I seriously stand by my claim that I think they would just like living today.
I really think so. We'll see as we get to the Beyond Human tapes. They do jump more into these explanations.
Well, according to surviving members, though, tomb time was an absolutely wonderful experience. They said that while they were in tomb time, they would sometimes experience physical sensations which sound a hell of a lot like ASMR.
I'm pissing myself. Why am I pissing myself?
Usually, these sensations would come at around 3 a.m. when the ships from the next level were suspected to be in the closest range to Earth. Followers said they'd hear ringing in their ears, they'd get body rushes, and they would have just a general feeling of, quote, incredible energy. This, they said, was often the moment when they would begin to believe everything that Applewhite and Nettles had been saying, because a lot of times they were feeling these physical charges without the aid of drugs or anything else like that. They were thinking, oh my God, this is real. The ships are here, they're close, I'm feeling it because Applewhite and Nettles told me how to feel it. I'm on the right track to the next level.
Yeah, now you have the sympathetic relationship between leader and follower. They are all giving each other what they want to have everybody feel good. The leaders feel chosen and special. The followers who have nothing but an anxiety about living in the real world get to give up their choices to a leader that does everything for them. And then these little bits of validation make them realize, they make them feel that all of this shit is working. And that I am a part of a living, working system.
Yeah, you should always give up all of your motivation to a Q-tip with eyes. I've always said that.
Always do that. I wish the paper clip from the Microsoft thing would pop out and tell me to cut my balls off.
Yep.
Then finally I can be released.
Speaking of sounding, that's probably what he's doing now. I used to help people with WordPress, and now all I'm doing is going inside of me. Oh, no. But I spoke with the Lucas brothers, Kenny and Keith, great comedians. If you haven't checked them out, check out the Lucas brothers. They have been sober for almost a year, and they were saying they can make, like, no weed, no anything. They were saying that you can kind of make yourself trip.
The breathing.
I don't know how it works. I never tried, but
it's a breathing thing, yeah.
I don't know.
The closest that I ever got to it was when I did the sensory deprivation tank, and I got into it, and there's something about being so bored that your brain it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like I shot down a tunnel. Like, I saw all sorts of shit. And then for a while, I was wondering if this is just, like, edible nuggets that are still in my guts, like just getting
Right.
consumed, like while I'm sitting in there. But then you wonder if you take away all stimulation, because these people led, let's make no bones about it, this is some of the most bone-grindingly boring lives that you can possibly imagine. The
Right.
goal was to sit and do nothing. They wanted to get to total oneness with their boredom. So they would sit and in tomb time, they would be staring into sky, like laying in the dirt, staring at the sky for hours. And in a way, it sheds all this other detritus, all the other
Right.
noise coming in, and then your brain starts like kind of doing things for you because that's the way our consciousness works for some reason.
And then a group of kids from FSU come and spray you with like the keg hose, and they're like, "Wake up, you losers! We're partying!"
No, we talked to a bartender in New Orleans that was attached to the bar that was attached to French Quarter Phantoms, and he said that he does this like breathing exercise that actually can get him like close to the feeling of MDMA.
Okay.
Like, he can actually like trip like through breathing, which I'd like to know more about that.
Sure.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, I want to trip balls right fucking out. Just from being winded on the elliptical.
Well, because these people were getting like these tiny validations, Applewhite and Nettles were more easily able to sell the whole fucking program. And the idea was that the more you pretended to be on a spacecraft, the easier it would be to transition to life on a spacecraft. Because even though it was a boring life, it was still in service to the future life on a spaceship on its way to heaven. You're pretending the whole time. You're pretending I'm on a spaceship. You're pretending I'm hanging out with space aliens. And you're having a pretty good time in your mind.
In your mind.
Henry, again, dude, go get the acid that they're taking over there.
These fucking guys are having a killer ass time. They just called the trash can a wasteful unit. That's fucking cool, man. No, it's weird, right? I don't know, because there's a part of me that does understand that lifestyle. You see, again, where I think where Dog Meat and I part ways, where it's like you're cool with the idea of the sort of spiritual exercise, where what other cults, Om Shinrikyo and Scientology specifically, they gave you all the props. They gave you all the stuff, right? Where it's like, Scientology has like the stupid e-meter, and it has the uniforms. It has all these it has things that you can touch that look sci-fi, that help those of us that are not willing to give up my boner, like to get more into this sci-fi lifestyle where they're going the total crunchy way, which is, again, they're playing for the afterlife. It's super, super Christian. It gets rid of all the sci-fi, and you're not living a fun life now so that you can fucking trip on the stars later.
We haven't really mentioned this yet, but any music? Is there any music involved here?
Shit, I don't think so. Well, no, actually there is quite a bit of singing from Applewhite, I think.
From Applewhite.
Well, I mean, their names are music-based, Doe and T. Doe, a deer, a female deer.
Is it just that song over and over and over again?
Bonnie Nettles' favorite album, quote-unquote album, was the Sound of Music soundtrack. That was her favorite thing on the face of the planet.
Okay.
So it's just her just being like,
I like the end part when the Nazis got him.
it's like she was very excited.
All right.
As we said, what came to be known as Heaven's Gate was essentially just Christianity by way of Chariots of the Gods. But when it came to the day-to-day activities of the cult, Applewhite and Nettles ripped directly from science fiction. But where Om Shinrikyo took from Isaac Asimov's dystopian novel The Foundation, Heaven's Gate chose a specifically utopian model. Heaven's Gate were about the biggest Star Trek nerds you could find.
Ooh.
This is again where I fucking love him.
Honestly, he does have a Picard look.
He does.
And Picard now has his own television show again.
It's pretty good.
Marshall would love this time era.
Star Trek definitely emboldened the use of silly haircuts. It did. To promote smartness.
And in an attempt to recruit more Trekkies, Heaven's Gate distributed posters that specifically transposed the biblical story of Jesus Christ into certain concepts and hierarchies that were present in Star Trek. They said that Jesus was essentially the captain who led an away team to Earth 2,000 years ago, and their mission was to help mankind overcome their humanness so they could enter the true kingdom of God, i.e., the United Federation of Planets.
Cool.
But all of this stuff that they're basing their religion on is made by heathens. It's made by Luciferians. The people who made Star Trek weren't sober. You know they were chain smoking in those rooms.
On some level, they thought that Gene Roddenberry was touched by the oneness. And they were like, all this other stuff is bad. Yes, it's bad. But Star Trek is kind of on the money.
That one's okay.
They loved sci-fi. Like anything that had to do with sci-fi, they absolutely loved. Like they considered it a part of the overall canvas that was Heaven's Gate.
All right.
Things also got more severe as they went. So they started way more. This was all thought exercises. Again, this is while T is alive. So while she is alive and with them, it's way more kind of because they were really happy in their own little shitty way.
Right.
Where Doe and T were a bonded couple. They loved each other very, very dearly. And they lived and held sway over this group of nerds in the forest for a while. And it seemed to really work out because of this time period. It was nice. And they could talk friendly about Star Trek. And they could add all of these sort of pop culture references into what they're doing. Because right now, this is all just thought exercises.
But they stayed Star Trek fans throughout. Like at the end, they were huge Deep Space Nine fans.
One Comic-Con springing up in Utah, one in Wyoming could have saved all of these people, and 6 Winkies.
Actually, that was the most shocking thing to Carolina about this whole situation. Was she was shocked that they killed themselves before the Deep Space Nine series finale. She's like, they didn't find out how it ended. They didn't find out what happened to Captain Sisko.
Are they true fans? I don't
on
think
some
so.
level, they're like, I'm certain that the next level will understand, and some of our older members will have taped it so that we can see it.
And they loved X-Files too. Like
Really?
X-Files because it was all about aliens and sci-fi. Like
No, I
because
love it.
They
I
believed
actually
it
like-
was closer to like next level thinking. So yeah, they loved X-Files, loved Stargate. Stargate was a big, big thing for them as well.
It's interesting to have that connection because those were still kind of niche, but I mean, X-Files was mainstream.
Yeah.
Star Wars was still a little bit more niche, but there were still millions of people that loved it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Trickies ain't niche.
Yep.
Well, 2,000 years ago, Jesus' mission kinda sorta took, but the mission was still incomplete. So the away team returned to Earth in the 1970s and settled into the mature adult bodies of Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles. But this time, the Admiral, aka God, had come along with the captain and his crew. This idea was taken from the Star Trek movies, where Kirk was Admiral and Spock was the captain. Specifically, they swiped from Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, which involved the crew of the Enterprise traveling back in time to save the whales after a space probe evaporated all the oceans in the 24th century. But they also came back, say like, hey, you got to be nice to the whales, you got to make sure everything's good to the environment here, and so on and so forth. So that's what they kind of transposed.
I remember that one.
Doesn't it specifically fuck with the Prime Directive, as always?
Well, that's the thing. They also transposed the Prime Directive. Prime Directive being when members of Starfleet were not allowed to interfere with developing cultures. Because when it came to Heaven's Gate, they eventually decided that they could not interfere with the spiritual development of other humans. That violated the Prime Directive.
Well, it also was because every single time they showed up and tried to explain that this googly-eyed asshole and this other woman were the channeling the Godhead, and everyone rolled their eyes so hard they fucking fell out of their head. And once they received enough of those rejections, then it finally came into being like, we're not supposed to convert them.
Right. I remember that one, though. Leonard Nimoy, R.I.P., right?
Actually, Leonard Nimoy directed.
He did.
Yeah, he directed Star Trek 4.
Well, then I sat next to him once in a movie theater.
You did?
Yep, I saw Inception with Leonard Nimoy.
Whoa!
He sat 2 seats away from me, and he coughed really bad the whole time. He was really sick.
Those are just some amazing Hollywood stories. You got to write a
little
book.
chunk. Just a little peep into my world.
Well, to the followers of Applewhite and Nettles, life on Earth was pretty much the same as being on a holodeck. But even though everything on Earth was indeed real, it was ultimately just a training ground for what was to come ahead. When it came to day-to-day life, the group also used science fiction terminology. Bedrooms were rest chambers, kitchens were Nutrilabs, laundry rooms were fiber labs, and offices were CompuLabs.
Hey, guys, you might want to give some room to these poo-poo labs. I just took a download of some samples of them.
Whoa, mama. It's just more difficult names for things that are very easy to explain.
But it gets you in the mood for being on a spaceship. I mean, I love calling a kitchen a Nutrilab.
Sure. I mean, it's also a brainwashing technique that they use to slowly but surely slide you out of the real world, so you create a whole new vocabulary for people. But up to a point, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I was scared of Henry's brain.
Yeah.
But I think he's actually doing pretty well. I think he loves L. Ron Hubbard. He's starting to post pictures of him on his Instagram. I have noticed.
I created a meme.
You created a meme that did not go viral. You were just posting video or images, but
I appreciate, again, him as a businessman. I like the way he viewed his work. I think that he's a funny little figure, and I love his body. And I think that he set up a right program, and that technically, people adulterated his vision.
right. So you're allowed to hold all of that because we just have to sort of ping pong, have a good time. Marcus, if we lose you, everything falls apart.
Oh, yeah.
So
No, I've already said this to Jackie. I've said this to Natalie. I've said this to Marcus already. If Marcus ever shows up after years of not seeing him with a fucking bowl cut, talking about he met this guy that is the true one. It's like, I get you're an adult and you have your civil liberties, and I feel like it's gonna rub people a wrong way in many ways. But I'm gonna fucking put you in an insane asylum.
Yep.
I'm just gonna have you put against your will in a room for a little while and see if it passes. I'm just gonna give that a shot first before letting you go, and just kind of see with all the drugs and the various people talking to you and me showing up with records being like, you miss records? You miss these, Marcus?
But what if I'm super happy?
No, you won't be. We also you can't be too happy.
Yeah, you can't be too happy.
No.
Because that's actually it's the blissful eyes of the new recruits.
So you're going to put me in an insane asylum because you find me annoying?
And happy.
And happy.
Yeah.
But you're annoyed that I'm happy.
Yes.
No, we're
So you're gonna have
concerned
to go
for
away.
how happy you were.
Yeah.
Well, fine.
Happiness is the destination. This is about the journey.
Live from your grave.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing? Ben Kitzel here with
Katie Dirks.
letting you know about Kinda Fun. It's the LPN Wrestling Podcast, and dare I say, it's kinda fun, bringing you all the news you need to know about wrestling to keep you up to date.
Yeah, we cover all sorts of news from across the wrestling industry, keep you updated, all the hot goss, all the fun stuff.
Everything you need to know. So check out Kinda Fun on the LPN Network. It's kinda fun.
Live from your grave.
Brother Reed from The Story Must Be Told here, and without any context whatsoever, here's a piece of an episode called Ghosts Are Hazy Life. Gruder rode in the passenger seat of Sylvie's Corolla like a sick dog. He slid on the seat at every stoplight, and twice got so scared he kicked the dash, scuffing the glove compartment with his dirty white orthopedics. He wouldn't tell her where they were going, and she wondered if he actually knew. He blurted each direction the moment it was needed. Right! And here! And stop! Gruder squealed like he was ready to throw up. Sylvie skidded to a stop on the shoulder of a busy freeway. At once, Gruder opened the door, ripped off his seatbelt, and ran into traffic. Uncle Gruder! Sylvie cried. Cars honked, each a howling blur. Yet, when she looked, Gruder was already across, waiting for her at the door of the Bethlehem Retirement Community.
Live from your grave.
Well, in Heaven's Gate, homes or tents were called crafts, and anything done out of a dwelling was called a, quote, out-of-craft task.
Oh.
And of course, if they were going to emulate Starfleet, it was only logical that they would create their own uniforms. Now,
Okay. This is like, I feel like it's the episode of The Simpsons where Lisa cracks the bully, like the enzymes that make someone want to bully someone. And I just want to go there and scream at these people. And I don't know why I feel this way.
it's fine. I don't know why you guys have such an intense reaction to nerds.
Because they're not.
You guys have an intense reaction to nerds. That's what it is.
Normal.
It's not normal.
I feel
It's
like
really not normal.
bonkers.
You know what it was? The truth is, when we get into next episode, is that I think that we had sort of diametrically opposed reactions to the faces of the members of Heaven's Gate. Because when I look at them, yes, I do feel sadness. I do feel a great deal of sadness watching their reactions and seeing these people give up everything for Marshall Applewhite, who is one of the most insufferable nerds who's ever, he is an insufferable person to listen, drone for hours and hours, and he talks nonsense and horseshit. Everybody, they all look drawn and thin. We'll talk about. I want to get deeper into this next week, but I feel very badly for these people, and I do wish someone came and scooped them.
I know you listened to about 7 hours. I listened to about 45 minutes of Applewhite. I thought he was kind of funny because he does inject like little jokes that kind of get lost.
Imagine a life of it.
He's not my least favorite.
But back in the Wyoming camp, the uniform policy was closer to a dress code. Initially, members said they wore uniforms, quote, to make the laundry easier.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That
makes
sense. What's his name? Steven. That's what Steve Jobs did.
Steve Jobs, all black all the time.
Mostly just wore nylon windbreakers, gloves in the winter, and then pants.
Cool. They got the old Tanya Harding bodyguard collection from Walmart. It looks great. Love it.
But every once in a while, the members would get weird with it by wearing hoods with cloth mesh eyes.
Uh-oh.
These hoods served two purposes. One, it took away their humanity, like when someone puts on like a gimp suit during sex. They're no longer a human.
Oh,
they're now an object.
Their manhood is definitely showing. Oh, my.
And two, it made tomb time a little easier. Because if you can't...
And there's a tomb. Notice the tomb over there.
Because if you can't see someone else's face, then you're less likely to interact with them. It isolates you. And it worked perfectly. Ultimately, what wearing the uniform and using the terminology accomplished was a feeling that everyone was closer to the next level, essentially playing pretend so no one would have to deal with modern society. They're just dropping out, they're pretending like they're on a spaceship. Who gives a shit what anybody else is doing? We're focused on the here and now.
They missed some kick-ass stuff from the 90s.
Well, no, this is 1976.
Oh, they're missing even more kick-ass stuff then.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning of this.
Yeah.
They didn't go live in isolation doing this. Just them.
So we
For
are
a long while.
That's actually great to clarify. So we are over 20 years out.
Yeah.
From the final, what I'm going to call Winky Gate.
We're 21 years out.
Damn.
From the final Winky Gate. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, all of these activities were referred to by T and Doe as games, because all of it was meant to be challenging and fun. It was just a
challenging and fun. Are you trying to make me learn? Because I have been Mavis Beacon typing. I have been on the tip.
All of them. You have been such a... I could just see the big face of Ben Kissel, all of these Michelle Pfeiffer-like teachers from Dangerous Minds, all trying to reach you, and you just go, nope. Nope, don't like it. Oh, there's numbers in a spaceship? I don't give a shit.
Don't
Is
care.
there beer in that? I don't care. What is this? Is this a menu for a restaurant? Nope. Get it out of here. I want to see.
Yep.
I'm not reading these books.
I remember playing video games and halfway through be like, this is educational. Not fun.
I was fucking sick at Mavis Beacon. Oh, shit, I was sick.
The sentences never made any sense.
And during this time period, they would also play these kind of message games where he would go and he would hide. He would literally go and hide and say, you got to find us, when they would move various camps, right? They would end up moving camps. And what you would do is lay out clues for them to find.
Okay.
And there's some people that conjecture that Marshall Applewhite had some sort of code-breaking training while in the military, which I don't know is true or not. I have no clue.
He did. He served in the military like very briefly.
Okay.
Yes. And so I don't know, but these were types of things. But again, these games, this is a way to shift it away from we are stripping you of your personality. We're bringing you in deeper.
Right.
Because this is challenging and fun. Listen to the tuning fork.
But it was all like comparatively lighthearted. Because unlike other cults, nobody ever really got punished in Heaven's Gate. Nobody was being imprisoned in underground isolation boxes like they were in Jonestown, and nobody was being cooked to death in gigantic fucking microwaves like they were in Om Shinrikyo.
That's great.
Yeah, do you remember that?
I do now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, they cook them in the microwave, the body would crumple up, and then they would dump the body in acid and they flush the whole thing down the toilet. And that wasn't happening with Marshall Applewhite.
It's not right.
Creates a lack of discipline.
And it seems like their followers, maybe it's because there's not many of them, they do seem to be into it, right? There's no one.
They're all
no
into
one's
it.
standing up and be like, not
God, no.
today, Doe.
Never.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, the idea is to very specifically pick these people. They very specifically, you had to choose them. That's a part of their line is being like, all we ask is that people humbly come and ask us for the truth.
Yeah, in Heaven's Gate, like the most people got was a shake of the head and a tisk tisk. Like, shouldn't be doing that.
Shredding the carrot.
But that's not to say Applewhite and what the fuck is shredding the
What does
carrot?
that even mean?
Oh yeah.
Shredding the carrot.
Yeah,
sure.
But you're just saying that. You're showing us, but you're just saying.
It's when you take your finger and you take your other finger. One finger symbolizes the carrot. The other finger symbolizes the shredder.
Yeah.
Shredding the carrot.
never-
Can you visualize it?
Now I can. I'm watching you do it, and it's kind of weird to see you do that. I see you doing that in a big nun's outfit for some custom events.
That's not to say Applewhite and Nettles didn't create a difficult regimen. They actually had a procedure for every conscious moment of life, from cooking and eating to bathing and sleeping. They wrote a list of guidelines called the 17 Steps, which provided behavioral rules that would help one overcome the human condition. It forbade, among other things, inconsiderate conversation, clumsiness, procrastination, oversensitivity, rudeness, defensiveness, and overfamiliarity.
This is an introvert's dictatorship.
It really is. And it's very unfortunate that they don't allow clumsiness, because I think Mr. Bean would have been a prime Heaven's Gate member.
Yeah, because all he does is make those weird little noises, and he has that teddy bear thing, and it's just him just getting into weird shenanigans going. They would have loved him. He would have been great at Tomb Time.
Mr. Bean's my favorite. Whistler's mother. Remember that when he messed up the painting?
Yeah, that was the movie,
Yeah, the movie. And then when he had his gun, but it was just his hand, and the guy's like, put the gun down. And then he put his hand down in the shape of a gun.
Oh, wow. What a great classic.
It is a classic.
Well, the steps also forbade members from, quote, using more of something than is adequate, like too high of a cooking flame or using too much toothpaste. Although those rules were more practical than anything, because they were all broke as fuck. They had no money. So, building off the 17 steps, Applewhite and Nettles instituted a game to exert further control over their followers' every moment of existence. This game was called the Docket. During the Docket, a loud beep would go off in the camp every 12 minutes. And when the beep sounded, different pairs of partners would report to what they called the service desk, which was what everyone called the awning that hung over T and Doe's camping trailer.
This is
Yep. Yeah.
so okay.
Imagine just scurrying. You hear the beep, and then everyone has to scurry. And then you got Bonnie clipping her toenails out there, being like,
You're gonna want to save these for the compost heap. Thank you, Mommy.
Another toenail bush is grown.
Well, once they reported, members would step up to a platform and silently ask the next level what they could do to serve. But they wouldn't get an answer from the next level. They'd get an answer from Applewhite and Nettles.
but it's just as good. It's just as good as an answer for the next level, Marcus.
But it's just fucking chores.
Yep.
I mean, they'd get this like, yeah, go gather some firewood or wash someone's car. And if there was nothing pressing to do, they just say, like, I just go back to your day. You're good. They're just having fun with it.
That doesn't sound like having fun with it.
They're having fun with the chores.
Yeah, but it teaches you to register to beeps, number one, which makes you a dog.
Yeah, definitely.
And number two, this is the exact mentality of every internet startup that had with interns for years. That they love the opportunity to talk to the Godhead. This is all about a fresh, new, fun opportunity for these guys to clean out garbage cans for the captain and the admiral.
I think going forward when it comes to cults, let's find a middle ground between Children of God and Heaven's Gate.
You're talking about a business.
It's a business.
Let's just cover Costco. Let's just talk about Costco, where it came from, how did it become the largest store?
But even though all of this is comparatively carefree when compared to other cults who ended with a gigantic pile of bodies, Applewhite Nettles operated on a level of paranoia that rivaled even Jim Jones, although Applewhite never really reached Jonesian levels.
Just push back a little bit. It doesn't seem like carefree, doesn't it? It's like highly care. What's the opposite of free in this term?
That is why this is my main thing with them, is that it seems all of this stuff is fairly innocent. Right, I get on one level it sort of is.
Well, comparatively carefree,
of course,
is what I said. Yeah.
Yes. Then especially then Jonestown, but that's kind of what the idea here is, right? We're playing on people that are deeply lacking in something. They're all missing something that they're getting out of the cult leader. They are in this environment for a reason. So all of this stuff is highly charged, even though it's all simple, because they believe with each action they do, they're getting closer to living on a spaceship. And if all of this just panned out to them owning a gem store, or them like creating a line of clothes, or like them doing something that it wasn't a mass suicide, I'd say yes, all of this is fairly carefree. But at the end, a bunch of people committed suicide because of this garbage.
39.
Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't seem that nefarious, but yeah, that's a good point.
Well, there should have been
ends that way.
There should have been a cutoff point. It was pretty much like as soon.
Oh, there was a cutoff point. Oh gosh.
Have you thought of writing for Jimmy Kimmel?
They said I'm too edgy. I go there.
You go there.
I sent my package that says, "Be warned, I go there."
Well, the group was highly sensitive to others seeing them in their space outfits.
That is one way of saying, let's avoid getting wedgies today. Highly sensitive to be seen in their space outfits is the sweetest way to say, we gotta look out for bullies.
I'm sick of being bullied. That happened to me when I was walking Wendy. 3 9-year-olds made fun of me for having a tiny dog. And if I just have a tiny dog, they should have loved the tiny dog. I can't imagine the amount of bullshit you receive if you're wearing the nerdiest version of a Ku Klux Klan hood.
So they posted sentries in the hills to watch for hikers or cars accidentally driving up to their site. And if anyone came, everyone would take off their hoods and pretend like they were just a Bible study group.
Honestly, if you have to change when people see you, you're doing something wrong.
No,
yes.
In some ways, not in every way.
Have pride.
Have pride.
Yeah. In your fucking costume.
So you want to be in a costume? You want them to be like Ku Klux Klansmen then?
If you really believe that you are in touch with the ones that have the only truth, you should be proud to show it and flaunt it.
I agree.
Well, Applewhite Nettles even had members practice tearing down the camp in case of a bug-out scenario, and they eventually practiced it enough where the whole thing would be packed into cars in less than 15 minutes. Now, as far as we know, this was only put into practice twice. Once, a member took a car without permission and drove to Laramie.
Whoa.
While the other time, a member wrote a secret letter to his family. Both of which being a far cry from murdering a fucking congressman like Jim Jones ordered. Mm-hmm. It was just writing a letter and going to town.
So they packed it up. They packed everything up.
They packed everything up and were like, we got to get the fuck out of here right now.
Oh my God. Well, they better keep it packed up because the OSU college wrestling squad is showing up. They are done with their season and they are ready to party.
All right. I got it. Here, let me give you this Star Trek hat and give it to my bloodhounds to go, all right, go root out them nerds. Go get them.
The thing was, nothing nefarious was happening here. They weren't stockpiling guns or sexually abusing anyone or committing even the slightest bit of violence towards each other. They were just weird nerds.
Okay.
That's all that was going on.
Right now they are.
At this point, they were just weird nerds. Now, I agree that it did definitely go to a place that it shouldn't have gone. I'm not saying the suicide was great.
Dog meat, mass suicide.
I think we might have to give the lead research role to Henry in this. I think the jury pool has been polluted.
He has been compromised.
No, I have not been compromised. I have absolutely not been compromised. There is a point where it turns, and I will point out that event.
Okay, because right now I am describing 80 people stuck in the woods, no contact with the outside world. They do everything at the behest of a bald man and a woman who may sound like a talking goat. There is something going on nefarious here.
I don't understand. I don't let me do the public talking. I'm the one with all the ideas and closest to the Godhead. And look at my beautiful, sexless body.
Anytime you write a letter to your parents and the entire camp that you're with freaks out, that's a bad sign.
Well,
Yeah.
but even though they did have their own little Starfleet society going, they still had to eat. When the coffers reached zero, as they did time and again, T and Doe instructed members to go out and get menial jobs to make a little cash. The only requirement was that the work had to be menial, because permanent employment sometimes encouraged an attachment to a career, which was a lesson T and Doe quickly learned. A few times, people went out, got jobs, and found that life among the Luciferians, not so bad.
Not so bad.
And so they just didn't come back.
No, because they can actually watch Star Trek on a television.
On a television instead of being described the episodes by the bowl-cutted leader. You guys both work these types of jobs.
Yeah,
I will say that it's kind of fun when you work in a fast food place or kind of a menial retail place. There is sort of a loose kind of bonding that's created amongst the misfits that have to work at these places.
Course.
So you can kind of see how an undersexed lady who's kind of spacey-eyed, who shows up to work at the Burger King, right? You can very quickly move very high into the sexual hierarchy of a fast food restaurant very easily. And all of a sudden, you're hot to trot. When you're on the fry-o-lator and you aren't a total carnivorous beast, people want at you. And you start to feel that attention a little bit.
Oh yeah, there was absolutely a sexual hierarchy at Joe's Crab Shack.
Well, I was never one of the wanted ones. I was big, and I was again fired for eating too much food. But
hey,
they wouldn't let me work the register because they literally told me the customers would be scared.
But you know for a fact, if one busty 40-year-old woman who is on the run from her abusive husband ended up there, you guys would have had an uneasy that would have started being questioning. But then it would have blossomed into some kind of relationship. That would turn into a Lifetime movie.
That happened, and she used to say, "I'm gonna go wash the dishes." She said wash instead of wash, which I'll never understand how the R snuck in there. She had sex with our manager. Not me. So literally that exact situation happened, and I did not get the divorcee.
But you buttered her up for the manager. And she had her eyes in the press.
Well, Applewhite and Nettles had a way of keeping control over their followers even when they were out there working these menial jobs. Every 12 minutes, they were supposed to look at the clock and mentally ask the next level, how can I be of service?
Well, you can start by pumping the gas of the person who is at the gas station here in New Jersey.
Oh, that's not the next level. That's my manager, Tam.
Well, Doe and T did allow members to watch television. They plugged the television into a car cigarette lighter in the camp, and they all sat around, because how the fuck else are you going to watch Star Trek and Space 1999 and Battlestar Galactica?
It's like living in prison, but with a bunch of trees around.
But besides their diet of TV sci-fi, members were also required to watch just regular shows so they could observe human behavior. The only restriction was that they could not watch family-oriented shows like Little House on the Prairie, because Little House on the Prairie, quote, vibrated on the human level.
And it might make you think of your mom.
Yeah.
Or your dad. Or
Yeah.
your brothers or your sisters. And
And
the
then
fact
you
that
wanna
you
go
left
home.
all them. And now you're watching a tiny television that's plugged into a cigarette lighter hole in a car who is surrounded by a bunch of stinky people. And you're not yet in space.
I do love that the 70s, they were making cars, and they were like, how strong should we make this cigarette lighter? Oh, man, people love Make it strong enough to power a large television. Because my Uncle Steve smokes 3 packs just on the way to church.
Now, what I read again and again about Heaven's Gate during the mid-70s was that even though these people were committed, they were also constantly plagued with doubts as to whether or not they were doing the right thing. Some were a little more vocal with those doubts, though. And those also happened to be the people who were not quite as committed to the process as the others were. So, near the end of 1976, Applewhite and Nettles singled out 19 of the least committed members.
Uh-oh.
But instead of just telling them that they were no longer a part of the group, Applewhite told them to go to Phoenix, get jobs, and await further instructions. Now, he did keep in contact with them for a few weeks, but eventually he just ghosted all of them. And without Applewhite's hands-on discipline, the group just fell apart and they all just went their separate ways.
Passive-aggressive bullshit.
They are the luckiest members, though.
Yeah. It's true. But I mean, again, it's almost refreshing having the hose spankings. At least you feel the want.
Yeah,
you
but
feel it.
The hose spankings. He's talking again. He wants to be on a Carnival cruise ship from hell. That is what Henry's dream is.
But the interesting thing about all of this is that, like almost every other cult, most members who left refused to say a bad word about the leaders themselves. In fact, no one left because they were disillusioned. The 19 who were kicked out had to actually be manipulated into leaving because nobody really wanted to go. You see, a lot of these people who later participated in the suicide said that they were hooked from day one. And it actually made a lot of sense that these people in particular were looking for something stable, because a lot of them were coming from the failure that was the 60s counterculture. These people had offered peace and love, and the world had rejected it. And I'd imagine all a lot of them wanted to do was crawl into a fucking hole and not deal with it, which was exactly what Applewhite and Nettles were offering. Plus, for some of them, I'm sure removing even the possibility of sex from their lives was a relief, because the free love movement had hurt a lot of people, and a lot of the folks who shouldn't have been a part of that scene found themselves participating in it, whether they wanted to or not.
That is why I will say this, and I always have said it, charge for love.
Charge for love.
Get something in monetary gain.
I believe in the transactional nature of sex sometimes. It needs to be stated up front, but once you get it handled, it actually really works. I think that it's also a lot of, again, Marshall Applewhite and Nettles really saw the people that were truly affected by this. And it was because free love was kind of the style of the time.
Yeah.
Right? There was this idea that we were all supposed to buy into this breaking down of labels, which I do appreciate. I do understand why, but there are people that are not equipped for that. And I think especially if you are maybe towards the asexual edge, or you are confused about it, or you want monogamy, or you want these other things. You want and during this time period it was not very stylish to believe in these things. So you are kind of pulled into this whole world of bullshit, and it kind of makes a perfect ground to find somebody who's specifically saying no sex here.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no there's none. So you come and join.
You're not going to get hurt here, essentially. Like, you're not going to get hurt. You're not going to have to deal with any of that bullshit because it is all forbidden. And also, you get to go to space on a spaceship.
No, that last part's pretty fun.
That's the fun part.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, with some exceptions, like the late 60s was a highly fucking selfish period of time in America, because a lot of the people we now know as boomers were only concerned with themselves and what they wanted. Because remember, the original name of that generation was the me generation. That's what it was all about. Me. What I want.
Except for the boomers that buy our VIP tickets, we really enjoy them.
We love them.
Now, this is purely speculation on my part, but I'd imagine that quite a few Heaven's Gate members got a big, nasty taste of boomer fuck shenanigans, and not having to deal with it ever again was actually a feature of Heaven's Gate, not a bug.
Well, when you listen to him talk, the sex stuff is obviously some of the most important parts of this entire group, was the lack of sex, specifically the lack of trying to destroy even the bottom of sexual thought, like the idea of desire they were trying to get rid of. And I think that it does have societal reasons, and then I think it also, that's why it attracted a very specific member, because it was people that were either hurt in the past or people that are, I mean, they couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
They couldn't make relationships work.
Yeah.
They couldn't and it's not that not either for lack of trying or there was some kind of anxiety or some fear. And then this just was another way of It's an anxiety reliever because now the option's taken from me. I don't have to worry about relating to people in this other way because it's difficult for me, and now I don't have to anymore.
Right.
So, when T and Doe closed up the campsite in Wyoming, 69 members remained in the group. For the next 2 years, the group stayed at different campsites in the Rocky Mountains and eventually made their way back to Texas. But during this time, they were essentially nomadic. Now, as we said last episode, Applewhite and Nettles have been making headlines since the 70s, and their profile eventually got high enough where ABC developed a pilot in 1979 based on their lives called The Mysterious Two.
Ooh.
As we know, getting a TV show made is exceedingly difficult.
Well, especially back then. I think there was only 3 channels.
And the whole thing got put on hold. But in 1982, that pilot morphed into a TV movie, which actually got made and was aired on national television.
So they allowed themselves to be interviewed by Hollywood producers and to be put on television?
Someone stole their story. Someone read about it in a newspaper article, stole it, wrote a pilot about it.
Maybe. This movie, directed by Gary Sherman, who did a fantastic Donald Pleasance movie called Raw Meat. Did you ever see Raw Meat?
I did see Raw Meat. I love it.
It's fucking great. That's the same director. It also had Priscilla Pointer, who played the mom in Blue Velvet, and a very young pre-Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert Englund.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I got to see this. I actually didn't know it was on YouTube. I'm going to watch it before next week's episode.
Yeah, and I didn't have time to watch the movie, but from what the synopsis tells us, the story is of 2 aliens who come to Earth to start a cult that promises their followers a trip to space on their UFO.
Uh-huh.
And it's rumored that Applewhite and Nettles helped to at least construct the story, which makes this movie the first widely disseminated piece of cult media produced in modern times.
Damn. Interesting.
I mean, I guess you could maybe count Cease to Exist, the Beach Boys song that was based on Charles Manson's Never Learn Not to Love Again. Oh, wait, Never Learn Not to Love Again was based on Cease to Exist. You could count that.
It's a whole series of things. And again, check out Marcus's new music podcast, No Dogs in Space.
Yeah.
And honestly, quick side note. Thank you all so much for the amazing response to No Dogs in Space.
Yeah, thank you. It's been overwhelming. It's
unbelievable. And that makes Marcus feels good.
Yeah.
That makes Marcus feels good.
Yeah, it makes me and Carolina
Marcus
feel so good. Thank you all so much for listening. It's been a fucking great response.
Absolutely.
But strangely, this TV movie was not an attempt to gain more followers. In fact, by the late 70s, recruitment efforts had stopped altogether, and followers were starting to fall away one by one. The ones who stayed, though, were about to enter an entirely new level of sci-fi weirdness, and the next logical step when it comes to a cult. Everybody was about to get new names.
Whoa, cool.
Starting in April of 1977, Applewhite and Nettles told everyone to drop their human names and give themselves new ones.
Okay.
Now, everyone was sort of allowed to choose their own or have others choose it for them.
I want to be the Thunder Gull.
You can be Thunder Gull.
Yep. You had to choose it within strict cult guidelines.
Oh, man, come on. I'm the Thunder Gull.
Everyone was allowed a 3-letter single syllable followed by the suffix Odie. In Applewhite's world, Odie was a suffix that meant child of God. Odie was a contraction of the words of God, while the Y was added to make it friendly, like calling Jim Jimmy, or if I called you Benny.
I hate
Old Benny.
I hate it. Sounds like I've been in prison for stealing a bunch of olives.
Yeah, the olive heist of 2021 was very, very well documented. Everyone will see.
Of course.
But he also does the same thing with Lucifer. He calls him Old Lucy, and he says it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's not cute.
Right.
There's nothing cute about it.
You watched too much Beyond Heaven. It poisoned your well.
No, it did not poison my well, and it showed me that this is all fucking absolute horseshit.
No, I think it's possibly true. We haven't gotten to the end of the story, and my understanding is there's 6 loose ding-dongs on a spaceship right now, and they are just like, we made it!
Well, as far as the 3 syllables went, it was usually a shortening of the member's given name, or it was related to a personal trait of the member. For example, a particularly tall member was called Tall Odie.
That's you, right? No, it's more like a particularly drunk member. That would be his name, be Dra-Odie, and that would be this guy over here. Look at him.
I'm gonna kill you all.
No. I'm being serious. The guy was called Tolo.
No, I
Tolodi.
believe you. I'm
not making fun of you.
No, I'm stating the point.
We never made fun of you once. We just said things.
Yeah, just said things.
Another member who was new called himself Neodi. While another who had a thirst for knowledge was called Thirstody.
Interesting. Oh, Henry, I got your name right here. It's called Balody because you're bloated and smell like baloney. You're balody.
Yeah. What is this, Jeff Ross's cult?
I can't take the roasts anymore, guys. I gotta go back to normal life.
The point of this, Applewhite said, was to bring you closer to the next level while disassociating yourself from your family tree. But everything changed for Applewhite and Nettles in the early 80s. 2 members of the group received inheritances totaling somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000.
Jesus fucking Christ. And they both turned into the WB Frog, just like kicking and dancing, so excited.
And for the first time, the group was able to rent actual homes.
Oh!
Why are so many people in these types of cults get huge inheritances? I was always hoped when I was super broke that some weird member of my family would die and I would just get money. But why does it happen to them? Why do they get the lucky roll of the dice?
Well, because the ones it doesn't happen to, you never hear about.
Yeah, that's true. $300K, that's honestly probably like $1.5 million by today's cash.
It's a lot of cash.
Damn.
I mean, it's a lot of cash, and it took them a long way.
Cool.
Well, their first craft, as they called every dwelling they ever lived in, was in Denver. Here, everyone's routine was prescribed to the absolute minute. Luckily, though, one woman who left in 1981 actually kept a written record of her daily schedule, so we can take a peek into what it was like inside a Heaven's Gate house.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Her first of 4 daily rest periods began at exactly 3:37 p.m. and ended exactly 2 hours later. At 5:57 p.m., she took a bath. 24 minutes after that, she took a vitamin pill, which was only one of 32 vitamins she had to take in one 24-hour period. At 6:36 p.m., she drank a liquid protein formula, and an hour later, she ate a cinnamon roll. Then, by 9:54 p.m., she went to bed for exactly 2 hours, then woke up again to do even more tasks. And this was done every single day.
Well, they do this on purpose. You chunk up somebody's sleep time, and it makes them exhausted.
Yeah.
It makes it so that they can't even think about breaking out of a schedule that has been handed to them. So this is their every minute was scheduled.
What happens if you have like anything outside of a normal? Let's say you got a case of the runs.
And they make exceptions for the runs.
Okay, so you can like.
Yeah, they don't want you shitting all over the house.
I don't know what they want.
What it also shows, though, is stuff when hinky things happen like that. What a fun thing that I imagine happens is that shows that you haven't been doing the work. And that you now, when your body reacts badly to these things, sometimes, especially in transition, it shows that you have more work to do, quote unquote, to release this vehicle. This is where the weird inner punishments would start, because every single thing was a reflection on about whether or not they were getting closer to the sexless vehicle or the whatever their perfect being shell was supposed to be, because aliens don't get diarrhea.
Yeah, you want to get this vehicle to heaven? I think I got it right here. I'm halfway to Mars, baby.
Well, I don't think that's true, because like watching the exit videos and how these people interacted with each other, they were very caring and loving to one another. Like, this was a tight-knit group, and I don't think they would have made each other feel bad for having diarrhea.
Well, we've gotten way off topic here talking about diarrhea, and that's my fault, and I'm sorry
You
about
did
that.
this.
I am sorry.
But it brings up a point. I think that they had their own camaraderie, and then it was different when it came to the teacher. I think the teachers were always separate from the rest of them. If you looking at the Beyond Human stuff, you watch him speak to them, and they sit like little rabbits at his feet.
Henry, you have not been listening. They have no camaraderie. That's not allowed.
Well, this woman who wrote this list, when she wasn't focused on a specific task, she would cook, which they called fuel preparation. She'd study astrology or do brain exercises like jigsaw puzzles or something similar. She never.
It's literally just Marcus and Carolina's life.
I know. No,
It's just what they like to do.
Knowing that this is Marcus's favorite cult, it's kind of like I'm looking through the lens of also judging him. Like this is why.
Well, that's why he's slowly getting mad because if we pick on it, I'm not trying to roast your behavior, Marcus. You're allowed to do whatever you want.
We are perfectly comfortable with the lives we live.
Jigsaw puzzles are great.
Very fun.
I love them.
Well, this woman never, ever left the house and only knew what the weather was like by looking through a skylight because all the windows in the house were constantly covered. She said this routine, best as she could guess, lasted 6 months.
She's agoraphobic.
Well, she's not agoraphobic.
You don't think so?
No. I don't
She covered
think so.
all of her windows.
She didn't cover all of her windows. The cult covered the windows. It's this
To isolate them.
This is very bad.
But she was in the house with other people. It wasn't just her. She wasn't doing this stuff of her own volition. It was other people telling her to do this.
Honestly,
she didn't have her own volition.
It's coming from within the house. You are really whitewashing. So they covered all of the windows.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I said
not
the
normal.
windows were constantly. I'm not saying any of this is normal. I'm just the only point that I'm making here.
But you didn't say
is that
this is where it gets weird. You were just somebody covered the windows. They played jigsaw puzzles.
Somebody is about to join me on the podium at the Slippery Slope Olympics. I think Marcus is looking at a bronze.
No, my whole point of this is that it's not. I'm not going to join this. I could never do this.
No, you can't anymore.
I could never ever. I would not have the discipline to do any of this, nor would I really want to do this.
No, I've seen that thing you're packing. You don't want to.
You just said the word discipline like it's a thing that it's good. You just said the word discipline like you wish you had the rigor to do this.
No, I don't. I just don't have the discipline to do this. But my point is that these people made a choice. Like, this is a choice. At every point, this is a choice. We cannot take away these people's agency and put it all on Marshall Applewhite of like, this is all Marshall Applewhite doing this. This is all Marshall Applewhite's manipulation. These people, up until a certain point, are making a choice to participate in this life.
Okay.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yes.
I would put.
As far as what Heaven's Gate ate, they tried just about every diet known to man, but all of them always ate exactly the same thing, and the diet was constantly changing. This, they said, was to break their attachment to food so they could look at it as pure fuel. And this I actually kind of get.
There's a lot that you get.
I'm not even going to talk about it. It's food is a wonderful thing. Brings people together. It gives you life. It's a great line through cultures.
It's annoying.
It's not annoying, Marcus. You need food. Food is a wonderful thing.
I know I need food, but I got to eat it like 3 times a day. I'm hungry right now, and I don't want to be.
Dog meat, and I broke it down yesterday. Dog meat does ascribe more and puts more of a values kind of qualification on a monastic lifestyle than somebody like me. I'm a Bacchanalian, right? I believe in the pleasures of the flesh. That is why I lean towards the idea. That's why I'm a Satanist, because I believe in the idea of all of the things that are good, I want it now. I don't want it in the afterlife. I fuck the afterlife because the afterlife doesn't exist. Where I believe Marcus does adhere closer to the idea that this lifestyle, like a more sparse lifestyle, a more pure lifestyle, helps your brain be uncluttered.
Okay, Henry, you're going to hell. Marcus, I don't know where you're going to end up. This is about eating food. I need you to just enjoy it. It's nice. It brings you together. Learn different cultures through food.
No, I enjoy food. I just, I wish I could just sort of enjoy food when I want to enjoy food, not enjoy food when my body tells me I have to eat food.
You're an insane person.
Well, Heaven's Gate, sometimes the diet would be vegetarian, sometimes it would be fruitarian, and sometimes they would do water or juice fasts. And when they needed to, quote-unquote, cleanse, they would drink a concoction of cayenne peppers coupled with enemas.
Gotta get it out.
Gotta get it out.
Oh, is the cayenne pepper in the enema?
No, they're drinking cayenne pepper.
Oh, God.
No, they're not doing the hot seat. They're not doing hot seat. That's a very
Is that the
controversial
LA term for cayenne pepper enema, the old hot seat?
They did the very standard. It's water. It's water with cayenne pepper and maple syrup in it that they drink every morning. It's like a fast.
Yeah. I have heard that that's still in vogue. Like Goop talks about it. That's still something that I've heard about to this day.
Yeah. But even though their diet was strict, no one was ever malnourished and no one ever got sick from these diets. The point was not to break these people down because they do that. Starvation is something that's done a lot of times with cults. The point was to make eating a bland, monotonous task, like filling up a car with gas.
And you would need to be a type of person anyway to want to live this life.
Yeah.
So that's why that's why they were even there, is because they were into this. I wouldn't last 15 seconds.
No.
I don't like camping. First of all, I don't even like camping. And I like food.
I can just see one of them taking a bite of a stuffed crust pizza, and then beginning at the stuffed crust, all of a sudden the screen becomes light, and all of a sudden there's color in the
Like
world,
Pleasantville?
like Pleasantville, and they're just like, wow,
What?
there is something out there.
Well, for Applewhite and Nettles, enjoying food was on the same wavelength as engaging in sex, because these two things were linked to a mammalian existence. Next-level beings didn't even think about eating or fucking, so the group should do the same.
Any idea how the next level beings procreate?
They don't.
They just live forever?
Yeah. They don't die.
They split.
Yeah, they don't die. They don't procreate. Luciferians die. Luciferians procreate. That's what separates the next level beings from the Luciferians.
Okay.
And to make sure people weren't sneaking cupcakes or masturbating, members would take shifts as quote-unquote eyes to monitor each other's behavior.
This is very unhealthy.
Yeah, but this was not seen as a threat or a punishment. The other members actually welcomed it because all of them wanted to change their behavior as quickly as possible. And if you had someone else watching you all the time, it was easier to break old habits.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to lead to a bizarre sexual fetish where now you're a cuckold and you love to watch other people masturbate.
Honestly, I feel like you could probably work up a little inner thing being like, let me get one out. Wouldn't it be better if I just got this out? And then you just watch him do it. You know what I mean? And then he watches you do it.
Yeah.
Seriously, like what Aaron Hernandez used to do with the quarterback when he was in high school.
Yeah. Isn't that new Netflix documentary pretty good?
It is pretty good.
I liked it.
I recommend it, the Aaron Hernandez documentary, yeah.
I'll be watching it for sad stories.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. And of course, none of these people were in contact with their families. But in 1982, after a lot of them had been totally off of the grid for about 7 years, some went to visit their parents on Mother's Day.
Okay.
But even though you might think these families, like Henry said, would lock these people in a room and call the nearest deprogramming expert, most of them were so shocked that their children weren't dead that they just welcomed all of them with open arms.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad.
But one member who'd been an aimless drug user on the brink of death when he disappeared, he came back a mature, helpful, enjoyable person. Stayed for 2 weeks, helped around the house, then disappeared again without leaving an address or phone number.
Did something happen that they broke the rule that you can't talk to your folks?
They were given permission.
So that every 7 years?
They got messaging from up top that they should all go and say hello to their families, because up until this point, they're still weaning people off of their human relationships. So they like to pretend that they're totally cool with people coming and going. So what they did was schedule a visit that everyone can go do just to see how cool they were. Just to see how, like, no, look, we're not forcing you to stay. You can leave anytime you want, even though the insinuation was like, but you'll come back and we're going to get right back into this. But this is me showing you how cool I am that I'm allowing you to do this.
Right, okay.
And this was not like a proselytizing trip. When these people were asked where they'd been and what they'd been doing, they would give only vague answers about learning computer technology. And they would refuse to talk about their day-to-day. Like, this was just the people at this point, like the people who were in the cult, that's all they wanted. They wouldn't start recruiting again for another 10 years or so.
Okay.
That same year, though, things took a dramatic and tragic turn for Heaven's Gate, both for Marshall Applewhite and for everybody actually in the cult. In May of 1982, Bonnie Lou Nettles lost an eye to cancer. And 3 years later, she died after a long bout of liver cancer.
How the hell did she get liver cancer if they're all so healthy and
I mean, no, that's the thing, is that it's not about being healthy. That was not their diet. That was not the reason behind the diet. The reason behind the diet was to make eating bland and as utilitarian as humanly possible. It was about finding what is the most bland combination of foods that can keep our vehicles going from day to day to day.
Well, if they were around today, they would just have the Arby's, the cheddar roast beef sandwich, which we had, and it's very bland now.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful.
Well, is this a damning accusation against Arby's? Saying
It
that
is.
their flavor profiles has slipped?
It's rare.
Bonnie Nettles wouldn't go to a doctor, so her whole body got riddled with cancer, and she died. Even though she had a very extensive prayer, there was one thing they all used to go and devise their own prayers. So Bonnie Nettles had a prayer that she would say, basically saying,
I know that there is a gland inside of me that will grow. It will grow and heal me.
and she used to do this every day for hours upon hours, praying to not have cancer anymore. But then she got it brutally, went all over her whole body. But what Marshall Applewhite did was say, what this shows is that there is too far of a gap between how close she was to the next level spiritually, and that her body was dying off. It was killing itself, so that she can finally be released to go to the next level.
So he threw her under the bus.
No.
By saying, she wasn't close enough yet.
No. It was not a negative thing.
Oh.
It was not her fault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just tweaking.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right.
It was spinning.
Yes, spinning. And this right here, this is the moment when the cult turns bad.
Oh.
Now, even though Applewhite was absolutely devastated by this development, he more or less rolled with it. I mean, he'd lost his closest friend, but he had not lost an ounce of his faith. And since T was now gone, he had to tweak the theology. Before, the line was that followers of Applewhite and Nettles would have their biological bodies transformed into the evolutionary level above human upon their entrance into the starship. No dying required.
Okay. Love it. Love it.
But after Bonnie and Nettles passed away, everything changed. Soon after her death, Applewhite started saying that, quote, these bodies would not survive the transition. Talk also started circulating of the need to, quote, abandon the vehicle that was their human bodies.
It's soft talk. They slowly but surely enters these little harmless statements saying that the bodies would not survive the transition, distancing himself from saying the actual words. Abandon the vehicle is another, it's using these terms. You create the word vehicle to say your body, you're separating yourself specifically. It is all about making sure that we never say the word mass suicide, because that would harsh some people's mellows.
Right. But isn't this the time, then, that they should be allowed to trash the place? Have fun, smoke cigs, get whiskey, eat all the cheese you want? I mean,
That's
really.
a very good point.
Well, this is 1985. The suicides don't come until 1997.
Get the cocaine, that 80s cocaine before it got destroyed.
Well, what Applewhite told his followers was that Nettles was indeed still alive, but she had gone on to the next level, leaving her human vehicle behind in order to skid off on a UFO to the kingdom. Furthermore, Applewhite said that he was still in constant contact with Nettles. The chain of mind had not been broken, and anything Applewhite said was supposedly coming straight from Nettles. And this was wildly fucking convenient for Applewhite.
No kidding.
See, if his followers did indeed believe in the evolutionary level above human, and believed that Nettles and Applewhite were inhabited by alien God and alien Jesus, they also had to believe Applewhite's story that Bonnie Nettles had reached the next level. And so, if they believed that she had reached the next level, then it followed that everything she said through Applewhite was now extra super special true, because she was now living everyone's ultimate goal.
They could have made so much money on Wall Street during this time. It was a great boom for the economy in the mid-'80s.
Well, for certain people.
For nerds. For people who
Look at me, I'm up in heaven, y'all. Enjoying myself. My pussy fell off. My nose fell off. Things are going great up here. And the starship, I gotta tell you what, It's really nice.
It's nice. Can we eat whatever we want up there? What kind of food is up there?
No, you get syrup and beets. That's all you get, same as usual.
Oh, man.
Well, what Marshall Applewhite now had was a way to beg off anything that anyone said concerning what he said they should do, because now it's all coming from Nettles. And you don't have Nettles there to say, oh, no, that's not actually what I meant. That's not actually what I said. Now it's just coming straight through Applewhite's brain, because when this cult was just run by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, it was totally fine, totally harmless. Everyone's just pretending they're in a spaceship. Who gives a shit? Who cares what these people are doing? It is all personal choice. They're not hurting anybody. They're just doing what they do. But once Bonnie Nettles dies and Marshall Applewhite is solely in charge of everything, that's when shit gets dark. And that's when you gotta get out.
Just wait until you die, Marcus, and I'm just going to be like, oh, I'm getting word from Marcus. Oh, fine, I'll tell them. I did all the work for last podcast on the left. Marcus has told me to tell you the truth. I have been the secret brains behind the operation for a long time, yes, and the brute.
But then I wonder if they did not, because while she was dying, they had their private meetings, and she was kept away from the group as she physically deteriorated. Same thing, it was very similar to LRH, when as he was dying, they put him away so they could spin all the narratives about what was happening. And I wonder if there was not some discussion about where are we taking this thing. And that because she was a true believer and did believe, I'm transitioning. We are going to talk about my body dying off so I can go. And maybe she's just like, now y'all got to come with me.
She was number one, right?
She was number one.
Yeah.
I don't think Bonnie Nettles said, you guys going to come with me, because that idea didn't come about until 1994, like 10
But she told
years.
him, she told him, though, from heaven.
Wait a second. So you mean their mass suicide plot didn't come together until the grunge movement? I see. Everyone was depressed.
Well, in 1988, Applewhite released a pamphlet called The 88 Update. And
Yep.
He still got it.
He mailed it out to New Age centers around America. Although it was weird that he sent out the 88 Update, because the 88 Update was really just a set of guidelines for living within the group. And those guidelines hadn't really changed in 10 years.
If you look that up, I think that's the most concise boil down of their inner belief system. It's a good rundown from top to bottom if you want to read and see what the way they wrote about themselves.
Okay.
Then, in 1992, Applewhite recorded and released a series called Beyond Human.
Cool.
Broadcast on an unknown channel somewhere on old school satellite TV, Beyond Human was a 12-episode series outlining the group's beliefs.
Now, I watched hours of this series, and the reason why, at first I was like, why am I watching this? Because I wanted to feel what it's like to be in their world. Like, what is it like to sit in a class, quote unquote, with Doe and hear directly from the fountain, hear from the spigot, see, have him pour into my mind, see what I can glean from this. And after hours of boredom, I started to really see a pattern that I think was interesting. And so what I noticed is that every single time Marshall Applewhite would talk about the hard stuff, when he would talk about his terminology for mass suicide, the idea of abandoning the vehicle, or he'd talk about abandoning your family, or do so, he'd turn on the waterworks. So you start to see this kind of the charismatic hold that he'd have on his followers, where the punishment that he used to do and dole out was that we are now so emotionally close to listening to this prattling, wide-eyed moron talk for hours, that when he started to cry about the stuff that was so hard for him to tell you that he had to do, and the burden that he had to tell you to do, because it's gobbledygook. He started talking about how one of them asked a question, but what's the difference between the mind, the soul, and the vehicle? And he started saying that the soul comes from the heavens, right? It comes from the next level beyond human, but it's put inside the mind. It contains the mind, which is a pillowcase filled with mind stuff. That percentages are filled with Luciferian thought and next level thoughts, right? But that's all inside the vehicle.
So
but
the pillowcase is full of mind
can be
stuff.
bigger than the body. Yay! Yes.
Okay.
And you have to increase the percentages of next level mind stuff into your soul pillowcase, so it can be the majority of mind stuff inside of you, and that it's a constant push and pull to get the Luciferian mind stuff out. Lucy's funny little mind stuff out.
Get rid of the Lucy's.
Get rid of the Lucy's. Get the tighties in.
Get the tighties in. And then what's the pillow?
You fucking asshole.
No, there has to be one.
Do the work.
No, I don't. You're the one who watched it. What, is there any reference to a pillow?
No. It's absolute, total, capital H horseshit.
Well, I don't think he's a moron, though. I think he's
Yes, he's very adroit. When you watch him do these videos, you see him play the room.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you just have these two watery-eyed students watching him, hanging on every word, smiling, so happy to be in his presence.
Jeez.
And in the first episode, you watch him berate them for not asking questions. Then they start bringing in questions, and he doesn't fucking answer a single one of them. All of his answers are these circuitous bumbledygook coming out of his mouth, and he's riffing. Natalie was watching some of it with me, and she put it correctly, where she was like, it's like a 7th grader asked to do a presentation on his book report, and he hasn't done the reading. So he's just riffing.
Honestly, back against the wall. That's when you know you have talent.
Yep.
Well, Applewhite did introduce some new terminology in these videos, at least new to the general public. He said that instead of saying me when referring to their bodies, they referred to their flesh and blood as this vehicle.
Okay.
Which served to separate them even further from their human urges. And Applewhite took it even further than this. The self, he said, existed on a hard drive, and the body was a form of hardware, and the true self was a form of software. Prayer was radio transmission, and miracles were technological wizardry. The soul, he said, was computer technology, which was made up of deposits put there by next-level aliens. But not everyone had deposits, and in fact, it was exceedingly rare for humans to have deposits. As such, only those who were gifted with deposits had the eyes to see the message that Applewhite was trying to bring to humanity, which is why he had so few followers.
Yeah.
And those deposits...
That's why.
And
Not because it sucks.
No.
It's
And
because only so many people get the next level beyond human gland that's put inside of you.
And those deposits acted as a homing beacon to the level above human, which is why those people were attracted to Marshall Applewhite, because the deposits the next level aliens put there sent them to Marshall Applewhite because he had a next level alien living inside of him.
And I believe he also, Marcus, you left one out. He said when you are very close with someone and you love that person, you stan them. And you stand that person.
I remember him saying
he
that.
loved
yes,
it.
He says, we do not stand our balls anymore.
No, we do not.
We do not.
So, after Beyond Human, the group began placing ads in national newspapers and New Age centers. One ad that ran in USA Today said, quote,
UFO cult resurfaces with final offer. The Earth's present civilization is about to be recycled, spaded under. Its inhabitants are refusing to evolve. The weeds have taken over the garden and disturbed its usefulness beyond repair.
I love that the newspaper were just like, well, are they paying for the ad? I guess we'll just run it. I wonder why no one trusts us anymore. But yeah, let's just put this ad in there.
This is USA Today.
Oh, I know. This is when it still mattered, too.
Well, that ad was run under the name Total Overcomers Anonymous, and it's
I think we've all been there.
And its decidedly apocalyptic tone matched what Applewhite was telling his followers in private. By 1994, suicide was officially on the table. Applewhite said that he had received messages from Bonnie Nettles telling all of their followers to lay down their human bodies in order to join her on the next level. And they better do it soon because, as you heard, the Earth was about to be spaded under.
Spaded under started as a more innocent term, right? It was this kind of thing where they were kind of softballing it. It's going to be a psychological change, some kind of spiritual change. But as things get darker,
Right.
you start saying the world's going to explode into flames. robot armies are going to destroy us.
When does he say that?
It's towards the end. It's all of like episode 12. He starts getting super apocalyptic. Where he starts talking about because then I started reading through this transcripts because I can't fucking listen to him talk anymore. And which is because cult leaders are dangerous in the fact, Shane Morton told me this as I was first researching LRH, where he talks about how cult leaders have a rhythm.
Yeah.
They have a speech rhythm, which is a part of why they work. That's a part of their charisma. Marshall Applewhite has a rhythm that you get into, and like what we discover with Scientology, you and I talk about this phenomenon all the time. All of a sudden, he has said an hour's worth of nonsense. I've technically understood every minute of it, but I couldn't repeat it to you if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just, in the moment, I'm like locked in.
Well, here's an example of Applewhite's tone. Let's listen to this clip of Applewhite from 1997, which kind of puts all this into perspective.
I mean, I don't care for any of the fame or glory of the human world. It's absolutely worthless to me. I can't wait to get out of here. There's nothing this planet or this civilization or this kingdom level has to offer me. I am away from my father to be here. Anything that I could sacrifice in this world is no sacrifice at all compared to what I sacrificed in leaving there to come here to try to help those that were given to me as a task. I apologize for being so emotional, but that happens to be the truth. I want to leave here. Now, I'm in a vehicle that is already falling apart on me, and I'm desperate to try to help you have a last chance to go. Let's go back to title of tape. Title of tape is Last Chance to Evacuate Planet Earth, to get out of the human kingdom, get out of the planet, leave it literally. Now, leave it literally means, well, what is literal?
Then he went Bill Clinton.
Yeah, exactly. And worst of all, I never learned to read.
He drives me crazy. The crying drives me crazy.
He doesn't
he sounds
really
very
cry,
familiar. It's crocodile tears.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is he sounds very similar to Jim Jones on the final tape, but he's not on drugs. He does sound like maybe he's slurring a little bit. He might be on pills, but I don't think so.
Well, he might have some physical problems, right? Because he said he was breaking down and stuff like that.
No, he's just not a very eloquent speaker. He that's what it is. He's just fucking. He's piss pronouncing his worms.
He's piss pronouncing his words. You can take the boy out of Texas, but you can't take the Texas out of the boy.
Yeah, I think he's just not a very eloquent, because you also hear when he talks, he speaks in a very disjointed type of way. He's just riffing the whole time, because when Marshall Applewhite talks, he says, let me back up for a second. He does that constantly, where he's going back and forth, just because he doesn't really write out everything that he's going to say. He's not reading off cue cards or anything like that. Like, he's just fucking talking.
Cool.
He just knows.
Well, that's a skill in itself.
And from what was later published, most of Applewhite's followers were cool with this direction. Like, he asked them, what if we had to exit our vehicles by choice? Does anyone here have a problem with that? And most of them didn't. Because by this point, their own bodies have been treated as a suit of clothes for so long, they didn't even identify with their bodies as a part of themselves anymore.
And they must be a little bit older, right? They must be like 50s?
Marcus made this point last episode, which is I think really speaks to it, is that they've been doing this for 20 years at this point,
yeah.
A lot of them. So they're 40s, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so
the average age of someone who killed themselves in Heaven's Gate was 47.
Damn.
So they've talked themselves out of caring for 20 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so now it is a little bit easier. You are not like, because Jonestown was essentially a mass. It's a complicated. We talked about it endlessly when we did our series, but it's a very fine line between homicide and suicide, because so many people there were young family. These kids were being murdered at gunpoint. It was all of these people who had no will whatsoever, and they were being forced to do it literally because they had assault rifles being pointed at them. Where these people were already kind of half resigned.
Mm-hmm. Well, the night it was brought up and discussed, only one member challenged the decision, and he just left. He said, I'm not fucking doing this.
I'm taking my balls and I am going home.
Yeah, and the rest of them just sat and listened as Applewhite told them that this decision was no different from Jesus' decision to willingly go to the cross 2,000 years before.
Right. Oh, wow. So a lot of conditioning. That's where all of those what seemed to be non-nefarious things in the past, this makes them a little bit more dangerous.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing. It's in the wrong hands. Like, when it was in Nettle's hands, it was all right. Like, it was fine. You know, it's not so cool that, some of them abandoned families and all that. But for the most part, it's fine. They're not hurting anybody. But in Applewhite's hands, when it goes over to Applewhite, that's when it turns fucking dark.
Okay.
But then they went public with their plans. They told everyone they were going to kill themselves.
Not like on the market. They didn't go public in the stock exchange.
No. They told everyone 3 years before the suicide that we're probably going to kill ourselves. In 1994, they released a poster that said, "The shedding of our borrowed human bodies may be required in order to take up our new bodies belonging to the next world."
Was this a cry for help?
No.
It was.
Okay.
I mean,
You think
it's
it
a
was?
different sort of help.
It's a different
sort of help.
It's a different sort of help. It's not a cry for help.
Because
It's a
mostly when-
cry for bullets.
They wanted the government to come and shoot them in the head.
Oh, they were looking for like a mass Ruby Ridge Waco type thing.
Yes.
They absolutely were. They were trying to provoke the government into coming knocking down their door and filling them all full of holes. And the things about that fucking poster that said we're going to kill ourselves, they actually gained 7 new members from that poster.
So
you guys
excited.
were killing yourselves. I'm here for that part of it.
It's just hard to say because it's a group of people it's like looking for an excuse to commit suicide. It's like an excuse, and now I found it. Like, this is a way that I can go and channel this feeling in a way that it feels productive. It doesn't feel like I won't get the same social stigma that I would get if I just did it myself.
Right.
This is allowing me to do it.
And of course, it's the whole trickery of you're killing yourself to live.
Yes.
Which is the
Fake.
thing that, yes.
It does not happen.
No, it's
not
a
real.
lie. It's
Whatever it
all-
might be, if there is anything afterwards, it's not going to be whichever you think it is.
No. It's darkness.
I read some. I read some very interesting things on Google, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, when nobody showed up at Heaven's Gate's door with guns ablazing, Applewhite decided it was time to be proactive. In 1994, they bought a book called Final Exit: The Practicalities of Self-Deliverance and Assisted Suicide for the Dying.
Who wrote that book?
Some guy that was it was for terminally ill patients.
Yeah, but why are they? But they're still relying on all of these more secular pieces of information.
Well, I don't see what that has to do with it.
It's just weird because aren't they supposed to be better than all the Luciferian people out there?
But, I mean, just because they're outside, not everybody who isn't in Heaven's Gate is a Luciferian.
There's a lot of holes, Kissel. There's a lot of gaps
All right,
in
no,
their
I know.
logic.
I'm just trying to caulk over a few of them here.
And after they bought that book, they started preparations to do it themselves. And that's where we'll pick back up for the conclusion of Heaven's Gate.
All right. Woo. Very interesting into the inner workings of the cult. Many, many years in the making.
Many years.
Damn.
Yeah,
all
dude.
right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for listening to our Heaven's Gate series thus far. We are so excited to conclude next week with part 3. For those
buddy,
that
and
don't know, it doesn't end great.
No.
It does not end peacefully or nicely. So we're going to basically do the entire day, and we're going to be covering all the facts of what the fuck happened in this mass suicide, highly organized, and what a waste is what I'm saying.
I still remember it on the news. I remember the camera panning all, I believe it was bunk beds, wasn't it?
It was bunk beds, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was a member of the cult who took that video.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He went on to write a book and try to make a bunch of money off at the very end, but it didn't sell.
Well, we'll talk about it.
I think he went as the name Rio D'Angelo. No, I literally think that is his name. I have to relook it up.
Okay, he's a real Rio D'Angelo from the
He's
South.
a real Rio D'Angelo.
Well, thank you all so much for listening, and we must remind you, February 14th, the Last Podcast on the Left, and all the shows here at the Last Podcast Network are going exclusive to Spotify. We are so excited about that partnership, and we're excited to bring you all over there with us.
And remember, you can listen to it for free. You can listen to it with a free Spotify account. You can download the podcast with a free Spotify account. It's super easy. I've moved all my shit over exclusively to Spotify. It works great for me. We actually kind of also been in direct contact with them, and there are people like asking for the feature of auto download, asking for more new episode notifications. We're hitting them with it. We're saying we want this to be done. So we kind of have this unique opportunity where we're also directly talking to the bosses of the app. That we're just doing. It's weird. I mean, they are nodding at us,
which is very nice. And speaking of Spotify, we will be in a bus on April, which will be very exciting. Why will we be in the bus? Because we're on tour, and we are very excited to see you all in April on tour. Our book will be out. We all have received the copy of the book now.
It's beautiful.
It's like so awesome.
It's beautiful. It's kind of crazy to see the work go into it and then come out, like have the book in your hands. And we really want you to come and see this new show. We're gonna write a whole brand new show. Come check us out. We are all over April, and you're gonna see us in our Spotify bus. It's just gonna be fucking hilarious.
It'll be a flawless performance as always.
As always. But yeah, we need a little bit of help of ticket sales on some of these places. Houston, Lubbock, and Las Vegas. Come on out.
Come on
Get
out,
some
y'all.
tickets. Come on out. It's going to be a great tour. Going to be a great show. So come on out.
Cannot wait to see you all. Keep on supporting all the shows here on the Last Podcast Network. No Dogs in Space, Marcus's new music show. Kind of Fun, the wrestling show, breaking down the wrestling news of the week. Politics, breaking down the political news of the week on Able Can Stop at Page 7. Whiz Brew, you name it, we got it here for you. So enjoy, a whole bunch of different kind of information you can get right here through the wonderful lens of our friends at the Last Podcast Network.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, everyone, never forget, hail yourselves.
Hail Satan.
Again.
Let's do a Magustalations.
Magustalations.
Okay. Just, you can go camping with your friends.
Yeah, Marcus, we can go camping.
That sounds like nice. That sounds very nice.
But we're gonna have weed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
of course.
but you know what? What we'll do? We'll call them crafts. We can set them up. I mean it. We'll have a whole thing. We'll do a Star Trek themed camping trip.
And Marcus,
I'm just saying, meet me halfway, guys.
That's me. That is me doing that.
That's it. And Marcus, Henry, and I, we will be in the main craft. And then you can come to us and you can say, guys, what should I do today?
Oh.
And then we'll give you all of the chores to do, so you can feel like you're with Heaven's Gate.
You're
and you
a part
can
of
bring
it.
us the steaks. You can bring us the beers from the deli and stuff like that. So
Not following the two of you. You don't have any connection to the
no, his
next
name is
level.
fucking Doe. And
I know him. I know him. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.